in between, or let me back up, in between what you saw in the spring game and going into fall camp, what's one of the things you're looking most forward to?
Just being a complete team. We had those of you that really cover us in the spring. Had a lot of guys that were out. We had a lot of postseason surgeries and things like that. But that's there's two sides to that. The downside is you like to have everybody all the time as a coach, but the plus side is boy, we got a chance to, Braden Jacobs got all those reps, right? Tristan Lee, I mean, we've seen him play a lot, things like that. We were able to get a ton of work for some of the young guys, but just being a complete team, getting everybody out there where we can really put it all together. Sadler, he was out all last year, out this spring, but that gave a lot of opportunity to the other guys. Elijah Thurman, wasn't able to go. His kid became a starter for us, and all of a sudden he's out. So just a very incomplete team in the spring, but we were able to do what we needed to do to develop our team. So that's the main thing, just see a complete football team, and then let's go do the work.
What's the competition at Potterwood?
I've got two guys, and I'd say Jack kind of came out just a smidge ahead in the spring, and so TBD. We'll see. We got a long way to go between now and game day, but really like the potential of both of those guys. But we got to see the performance consistently. We went and signed Jack because we really believe in him. It's not something that we just wished upon a star. We really believe in Jack Smith, and he earned a scholarship here, and it's his opportunity to go do it. And McCoon is another guy that we brought onto the team because we're like, this kid's got a real shot, and then he's risen up and he's competing. So I think we got really good competition there. And then Robert Gunn is another guy that has kind of got his hat in the ring as well.
Coach, you can feel the hype building for Gabe Klubnik, and probably going to be growing more so as we get towards the end of the summer. But you've had a few guys that we talked to Taj today, Deshaun, obviously, Trevor, guys who have faced that and been able to block it out. Do you see Cade as one of those guys?
Well, I mean, last year this time they said he's terrible, so he had to block that out. I mean, it's the same thing. So, I mean, of course I see him as one of those guys because he had to do the same thing last year. Yeah, you got to block out that you suck. You got to block out that Swinney should have went and got a portal guy over you. You got to block out that we'll never win. You're just not going to get it done. You got to block that out. But you also got to block out, you're the Heisman. Oh, you're the greatest thing ever. Literally 12 months later. All right, that's just part of it. Because there's always external narratives. There's always external opinions. That's all. That's just a part of what we do. And if you're a coach or you're a player, that can't be your motivation. And it can be fuel for you. I mean, it's good whether it's. It can be a little fuel. I always say it can be a little fuel for your fire, but it can't be the fire. Because if that's your fire, other people's opinions and narratives, if that's your fire, you're going to be really inconsistent. If your fire's got to come from within. It's got to be your purpose, your why, your foundation to your life. That's got to be your fire. And you grab any fuel when you can. If people want to give you some free fuel, you take it, right? So, I'm sure Cade's driven by the right things. And I'm sure he took a little fuel last year, but that's not his fire. Same thing this year. Oh, great. Oh, dang, it's nice. Y'all think I'm good? I'll take a little bit of that, but that's not his fire. A little fuel for him. So, I'm proud of him. He's done a great job. He's been here 3 years. He's a model dude, man. He's what you want. He's committed in every sense of that word. He's a leader. He's developed and gotten better, but he's got to take another step. He did that last year. The things that he needed to improve on, taking care of the ball, not taking a bunch of sacks and TFLs, and being a little more situationally aware, and pushing the ball down the field a little bit, and getting physically a little more mature. He did all those things, using his legs, being opportunistic with his legs, creating with his legs. He did all those things. But now it's more precision, more detail, more aware, all those things, just a little bit more. And if he does that, then he's going to have a great year because he's a winner. He's a great human being and just happens to be a quarterback. And I love the kid and proud of him, but, last year doesn't carry over. Just like I told him, the mistakes you made the year before don't have to carry over. But the great plays don't carry over either. You got to start over. We all start over. And you got to go and improve it each and every year. But, he's really experienced and he's done the work. And I think that's ultimately what determines your success is the work that you put in, when nobody's watching.
Coach. LSU Coach Ryan Kelly said that their Death Valley is a real Death Valley. And they got a bunch of guys.
Oh man, no! This is hey, I don't know the context. I have no idea. I don't. It's not like I'm sitting around watching press conferences and all that stuff. So I have no idea, But I got a lot of respect for LSU and Coach Kelly. I can tell you that. But I don't. I guess Coach who was it? Coach McMillan at PC. I guess that's where all that started. So I guess everybody can do their own research on that. But it'll be a great game in a great environment with two really, really talented football teams.
Coach, in addition to Cade, it seems like Clemson as a whole has been really positive in some of these preseason rankings versus where maybe they were last year in terms of the national attention. Do you think that's warranted, and how do you keep your team outside of Cade, really everyone in the building, focused on just themselves?
Hang on. Let me come back to that. I will say this, though. Who asked me the Brian quote? Okay, yes, Brian quote. Had a hilarious moment this summer. This is hilarious. Also, just really stupid on my part, but shocker. We went down to the beach, and there's a place called Grayton Beach down in the Panhandle, and I was with my brother hanging out, and they've been telling me that Brian Kelly. So there's a place called the Red Bar. It's a great little spot to eat down there. Anybody ever been to the Red Bar? Panay chicken. It's awesome, right? It's right there on Grayton Beach. Little spot. So my brother or my sister-in-law, she's saying, hey, Brian Kelly has a place. His wife has a gift shop right on the corner there in Grayton Beach. I'm like, oh, really? That's pretty cool. I had no idea. So anyway, we go there, and I walk off. So I go into the store. Me and Kath walking in the store. Kath buys something because she's trying to support Mrs. Kelly or whatever we're doing. So she buys something, and we go in the store, and I'm walking around. I go out, and they're like, yeah. And he's got a concert. He's going to have a concert in the back. So I'm like, okay, I'll walk out in the back. There's a little stage in the back, and there's like I think it's like fake grass or whatever, just a small little area. And it says Brian Kelly, performing live on this day, whatever. And I'm going, freaking hey, Brian Kelly can sing, play. I didn't know that. So I'm like taking pictures, and I'm sending it to Brian Kelly. I'm sending all these pictures to Brian Kelly. And then I'm going, I get on the stage, Brian Kelly, I'm just kind of having some fun. I'm like, hey, I got, and I sent all this to Brian Kelly. All right. Well, then the guy that was with my brother, he's walking over because Cass said something about, I don't know what she said. I just can't believe that Brian Kelly, this is really cool. And she's, like, we played them or something in the opener or whatever to the guy. And he's like, what? And as it turns out, there's another Brian Kelly. And he's like, what's the band? Anybody know? It's something Florida Georgia Line or something. I think it's called Florida Georgia Line or Georgia Florida Line Band. Florida Georgia Line Band, and he's like a lead singer or something. And I've even heard their songs, but I don't know all these people's names. But I have no clue. So now Kath goes, babe, it's Brian Kelly's a singer with Florida Georgia Line. And I went, what? I've been fired all these pictures off to Brian Kelly. He's over there probably going, what the hell? This is an idiot. What is this dude doing? So anyway, good spirit. He doesn't know this. He'll know this now. But I was going to wait and tell him this when we got to midfield or whatever, but this will save me we can just laugh about it. So I'm thinking this is like the Brian Kelly. I'm like, wow, he's going to perform live, a small crowd. His wife's got a shop. And so finally he sends me a text. He's like, yeah, man, that was great. He said, yeah, you just can't get away from Brian Kelly or something like that. I'm sure he was like, I have no idea what the context of this is. But anyway, and then I realized that it wasn't him. I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, we'll have a laugh over that. But and to the actual Brian Kelly of Florida Georgia Line, hey, come play in the Valley sometime, man. I'd love to see you. But anyway. What was your question? I forgot. But you brought Brian Kelly up, and I spent in my head all summer. I'm like, oh my God, I'm an idiot.
I don't think it matters now. I can't follow up that story.
I don't know what the question was. What was it? Something about expectations.
You're getting a lot of national love now, which maybe the past couple of years Clemson wasn't getting in the same way. How do you deal with that and talk about that with your team?
I mean, we've been a target around here for a long time. I mean, whether they're talking bad about you, talking good about you, it doesn't matter. Expectations are always high here, always have been, and they're all big. And if you don't believe that, just lose one. You'll find out how big they are at Clemson. They're all big. They're all big. Everybody's going to talk a lot about LSU game. Lose to Troy, you'll find out how big Troy is. They're all big. So the expectations are high every single year. It's just a part of being at Clemson. Some years they talk good about you, some years they talk bad about you, but that doesn't have anything to do with the expectations. They're still going to be high at Clemson. So that's just a part of it. We embrace that. But as I always tell these guys, headlines this time of year, it's all based on opinions and potential. The headlines that matter are the ones that are written on performance. And those are the ones that ultimately matter in the end. It's fun to talk about. A lot of good stuff. It's what makes college football really cool. So much passion and interest and narratives and storylines and all these things and predictions and all that's part of it, and it's fun. But in the end, for us, what does our performance say? What did we earn? We're going to earn the headlines that matter.